Unit 3.3. Why and with what effects did Britain and France pursue a policy of appeasement? Key terms: bilateral agreement, an agreement made between two parties without consultation with each other. Public opinion and fear of war. Appeasement was the policy used by Britain and France during the 1930s in response to aggressive actions by countries like Germany and Italy. It involved giving in to some demands in the hope of avoiding war. One of the most important reasons for appeasement was a strong desire to avoid another major war. The memory of World War I was still very powerful, and the huge loss of life had deeply affected society. Public opinion in both Britain and France strongly supported peace, and many people believed war should be avoided at almost any cost. Economic pressures. Economic factors also played an important role. The Great Depression had badly weakened national economies, reducing government income and increasing unemployment. Military spending had been cut during the 1920s and early 1930s, and neither Britain nor France felt ready financially for a major war. There was also concern that strict economic sanctions against aggressive countries could harm trade and make economic problems worse at home. Military weaknesses and defensive strategies. Militarily, both countries were not prepared for immediate war. France focused on defense by building the Maginot Line along its border with Germany. This system was designed to stop the invasion rather than support attack. Britain, meanwhile, the global responsibilities across its empire and relatively small army. Policies like the 10-year rule had reduced military readiness. Appeasement as a strategy. Appeasement was therefore seen as a way to gain time by avoiding conflict. Britain and France hoped to rebuild their military strength while keeping peace. This policy was most closely linked to British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain, who believed that reasonable concessions would satisfy Hitler's demand and prevent further aggression. The Munich Agreement of 1938, which allowed Germany to take the Sudetenland, which was seen as at the time as a success. Consequences of appeasement. However, the effects of appeasement were negative. Instead of stopping conflict, it encouraged further aggression. Hitler saw the willingness of Britain and France to give in as a sign of weakness. This made him more confident and pushed him to expand further, including taking over the rest of Czechoslovakia in 1939. Although appeasement gave Britain time to rearm, especially by strengthening its air force and developing radar, it failed to prevent war. Instead, it helped create the conditions that made war even more likely.